I'm extremely sorry if I'm ruining your weekend, but I already tell you I'm not in a good mood. Prepare yourself because this video will hurt. Prepare yourself because this video will bring a lot of nostalgia to the older generations, to the people from my generation. This video is a real reality check. We need to speak about one thing. It's not our only problem, but it's a big one. This Juventus never score. And we are not speaking only about this season. So today we speak about strikers of the past, striker of now, at the moment, and strikers of the future. So we will speak about mercato of strikers, because we are looking for at least 2 strikers for season 25-26, and of course top 4 will decide what kind of level of strikers we can have, we can afford ourselves. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Again, I'm sorry if I'm not in a good mood, but it is what it is, and you will understand why in a second. Today, no press conference of Igor Tudor. Today, no Serie A games. Everything has been cancelled or postponed because of the funerals of the Pope. But anyway, what did you want Igor Tudor to say? What do you want him to say? He's pissed off. He didn't digest the loss against Parma. And not that much the fact that we didn't go home with the 3 points, but the behavior, how we entered the field. He said something. We must put our helmet and we need to go on the field, prepare ourselves for a battle. We need to battle. When you're looking at the stats of the duels that we lost, it was everything but a battle. We didn't see that exemplarity, that being proud of wearing the shirt, to defending the shirt, to go on the field understanding there was something extremely important to fight for. Nothing. Igor Tudor is not recognizing his Juventus anymore. Yes, of course, he knows La Continassa because he already has been there in 2020. He knows the city of Torino, where he stayed for so many years as a player. He knows the color of the shirt, the black and white stripe. He knows all of that. He knows that. But he doesn't recognize his Juventus. And can you blame Igor Tudor? I don't think so. Because yesterday, by pure coincidence, I put on the television and I started the game watching Juventus Monaco, season 97-98. To be more precise, the 1st of April 98. Semi-final of Champions League. Just to tell you that today we are praying, hoping that some teams are doing bad so that we can do well and entering top 4 to qualify to the next Champions League. Here, I was watching a game where we were playing a semi-final that at the end we won and we go to the final of Champions League. It brought me so much nostalgia, my friends, so much nostalgia, hearing the French commentator, because there are archive videos, saying, Monaco did extremely well, but what can you do against the strongest team on earth at the moment? Because that's what we were speaking about. You will tell me, Beppe, Monaco, fairy tale. No. Monaco, they were playing with Sagnol in defense, Barthez into goal, Trezeguet there on top. Second half, Thierry Henry that is entering. I'm just mentioning these 4 players because there are 4 players that then a few years later you will see in the final of the World Cup against Italy. 4 second spot World Cup winners. Incredible. What a team, Monaco. Beautiful team in 97-98. Really. But Juventus was stronger. Look at the lineup. Peruzzi, Torricelli, that I really want to say thank you. Grazie Moreno, because this shirt that we were wearing in that game, I brought him to him when I met him the first time. He took the time to sign it with a really beautiful message. Since then, I met him again. I had the opportunity to interview him live. We speak from time to time about our beautiful old Juventus. Torricelli, Giuliano, Montero, Pessotto, 4-man defense. 4 in the middle, Di Livio, Soldatino, the little soldier there on the wing. Deschamps, Zinedine Zidane, Edgar Davids up front, Pippo Inzaghi, Alessandro Del Piero, pre-injury, the best player of the world, competing to be the best player of the world with Ronaldo from Brazil. Incredible. Del Piero that scored in that game that we win 4-1, a hat-trick, fantastic free kick at the 35th minute, then 2 penalties, and then he doesn't stop there. Magia on the field, giving at the 87th minute also the assist for Zinedine Zidane to score the 4th goal. Incredible. What a Del Piero. The highlights and skill can never reproduce what he was giving on the field in 90 minutes. So you really need to watch it with your eyes. Mamma mia, what a team. I'm not even mentioning the bench with Tacchinardi that is entering, with Antonio Conte that is entering. Antonio Conte, when we are speaking about DNA, hunger, fighting spirit, he was starting on the bench in that game. Can you imagine that Juve that is winning 4-1? Incredible. But why am I speaking about that Juve and you tell me Tudor? Because Tudor, he arrived the season after. We don't do a lot of stills. Torricelli leaves, And that's it. That's it. For the rest, it's nearly the same team that Igor Tudor, arrives as a 20 years old, so he's used to that Juve, to that fighting spirit, to that DNA, to players that knew how to play football, knew especially how to honor the shirt, and he doesn't recognize this Juventus. A Juventus that in the 4 years before his arrival were on top of the world. 3 times the Scudetto on 4. The 4th time, what? Second. It was or first most of the time. If not, you were second. Final of UEFA Cup, the first year with Marcello Lippi. 1 time we won the Champions League, twice we arrived second. Coppa Italia, we won 1 time. Twice Supercoppa Italiana, 1 time the Supercoppa Europea, 1 time the Intercontinentale. In 4 years, 9 trophies. And when you were not winning, you arrived second. Today we are speaking about, hopefully, we arrive 4th. That's the minimum objective. Mamma mia, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because not only Tudor, but also Beppe. I don't recognize my Juventus. Give me back my Juventus. I want my Juventus back as soon as possible. Like Claudio Gentile, that played 11 seasons at Juventus, 10 trophies won with Juve. What a player. He just stopped in his last year, was 83-84, but he's saying it in an interview today in Gazzetta dello Sport. I'm suffering. And when I'm watching Juventus on television, at a certain moment, I shut down the television. I'm pissed off. I go away. I can't watch it anymore. It hurts too much. Messages to everyone. Really harsh, Claudio Gentile. Giuntoli. La signora, the old lady, is different. This is not Napoli, are the words of Claudio Gentile. He's speaking about the players that could possibly really represent Juve. And he's saying maybe only Kenan Yildiz is one that has that Juve DNA, that could represent Juve. But that's it. And it's not enough. It's not enough. Look, when we were there with Presidente Boniperti, arriving second was a tragedy, was a total disaster. Today we are speaking about a top 4. We are hoping to bring for a top 4. On Mercato we did a lot of mistakes. For the Champions League, now I'm a bit worried. And that's what I am as well after that result against Parma. Not that much because of Parma, because you couldn't ask Tudor to win all the games. But because of the way how, and this is why Tudor, I'm thinking, is extremely happy today that he's not obliged to speak in front of microphones, because that's what he would have told us, because Tudor is going straight forward, always honest, always transparent, and I think that today would have been a total disaster for players that would have maybe listened to the words in replay of that post-conference, because it was a disaster. Tudor is not happy at all. Now, I told you that we will speak about striker, and we arrived there. We already spoke about the lack of character, personality, leadership, and that's one. We speak about the fact that we are always conceding from set pieces, from headers. You know that we are equalizing a negative record that is there since, 2009, 2010 season, a total disaster season where we arrived, I think, 7th in that season. We are equalizing the goal conceded by header 10 already. It's a total disaster. It's a shame. We are always conceding this. These are things that cannot happen. It's a negative record, and this season has been the season of beating a negative record after another negative record after another negative record, and this has to stop. Not qualifying to Champions League is a disaster, but our main focus now is at a certain moment, we must score. We must score. I would love also to clip my celebrations, something that I really like, because you know how I am. When we score, I'm happy. And I cannot, because or we don't score, or we score a goal that at the end you're not even sure how much you can celebrate. Because at the end, you know that maybe we will not win. We must start scoring. We seriously must start scoring. You know, today in Tuttosport there is an article. After Cristiano Ronaldo, we are having extremely difficulty to score. Speaking about him only, Cristiano Ronaldo, 3 seasons with Juve, 134 games, 101 goals. What are we speaking about? A monster at Juve. A monster. 101 goals in 3 seasons is something out of this world for Juve. Something out of this world that never happened. Look, we had difficulties after him going away. 1.7 goals per game with Allegri in 18-19 with Cristiano Ronaldo. 1.9 with Sarri. The year also, the last one of the Scudetto. 2 goals per game with Andrea Pirlo in season 2021. Then Cristiano Ronaldo leaves, and that's where we are. Average 1.5 goals. You see, from 2 to 1.5. That's half a goal per game less. 1.4 the year after, the famous year of all the management going away, the minus 15, the plus 15, the minus 10, etc., etc. 1.6 last year. And this season, we are equalizing negative records. 1.4 goals scored per game again. And that's a total disaster. You will tell me, Beppe, Cristiano Ronaldo leaving, it's hard to equalize the same numbers. And I totally agree with that. It's the same story with Real Madrid, for example. Real Madrid scored in season 15-16 146 goals. 173 goals the season after. 148 goals the season after. 3 years with Cristiano Ronaldo. He leaves. You know how much they scored in that season? 108 goals. That's 40 goals less. They were averaging 2.8 goals per season, 2.4 the last season of Cristiano Ronaldo. They drop at 1.81 goals per season. So it's hard. Manchester United had the same difficulties. After Ronaldo, you miss a lot of goals. But the difference there with Real Madrid is that at a certain moment they say, oh, okay, he's gone, but now we need to go back. And it's not a mystery that they are again over 2 goals per season, 2.12 in season 21-22. 2.14 in the season 22-23 with 131 goals scored. Last season, 136 goals scored with an average of 2.43 goals scored per game. You see, they were able, after understanding, metabolizing the fact that he was gone, to go back in finding other ways to score, not being only Cristiano Ronaldo dependent. And that's a big problem that Juventus was not able to solve, because that's where we arrive to the guy that should have replaced Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of center of the project, in terms of the bomber, where you're putting 80 million euro on the table with a huge big salary that was increasing season per season, touching 12.5 net, which means 25 million euro gross for Juventus next season. We arrived to a player that in 139 games, with the last one included, scored 55 goals. If you want to go into details, well, in total, 9 goals on 21 games the first half of the season, because he arrived in January, which was not that bad, to be honest. Nearly 1 goal every 2 games, but then 14 goals in 42 games. 18 goals in 38 games. 14 goals in 38 games the last season. It's because of Allegri. Wait when you will have a new coach. With Thiago Motta, even worse. Ragazzi. With Tudor, 0 goals at the moment in 4 games, and with all the trust, with everything. Yes, Dusan Vlahovic is a problem. Is a huge problem. You tell me, Beppe, you're comparing Cristiano Ronaldo. Beppe, you're exaggerating. Well, we are there. 100 million euro invested for Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at the return on investment. You don't want to speak about Cristiano Ronaldo, speak about Higuain. Higuain in the 2 first seasons of Juve. I'm not speaking about the comeback after Milan, because we know that Juventus didn't want him. It was over. But the 2 first seasons, he comes at Juve, 105 games in 2 seasons, so it was a season, 2 seasons of gaming, a lot of games, arriving to the final of Champions League even. He scored 55 goals, so he needed only 2 seasons to do the same of Dusan Vlahovic in 3.5. We are speaking about a player where, okay, you invest 90 million euro, but was able immediately to give you that impact, an impact that we never saw from Dusan Vlahovic. Yes, a few moments here, a few moments there, totally disappearing, and especially the behavior. And that's the huge big problem that a lot of my generation are missing. The behavior. Not being conditioned by a 18 years old that is taking the ball at the first minute of the game from you, but continuing, standing up, not blaming, going, fighting, saying that I will do better. At the moment, we can say that Dusan Vlahovic is not the only responsible of the situation, but was especially not the one that could have solved it. A player that will earn 12.5 million euro net next season is a problem for sustainability for Juve. It's a player that is not giving back. It's not a player that is performing, so we have a huge problem there. On top of that, Milik, that is the second striker, that should have been the second striker on paper, totally disappeared. He's not there, and we are not counting on him. Probably the last season of Milik with Juve, where he would have played 0 minutes in the entire season. And Colomoni, question mark, what will happen? Will we even be able to extend him for the World Cup that is starting in 49 days? At the moment, we don't score. And the players that are there, they are not convincing me that are able to score. Juventus is thinking about the future already today. We already spoke about a lot of names. Osimhen, Retegui, Jonathan David, Liam Delap is another player. So we go from the expensive one, from value, and from salary, because Osimhen is also earning double-digit salary, 10 million euro. You need to convince Napoli. Do you think that really they will be convinced easily? Understanding maybe that there is even the possibility that Conte goes again back in the Bianconero. Never. No way Manchester United is strong on the player, even if there are rumors that are saying Juventus, they made the biggest offer to Napoli. Juventus, they made the biggest offer to the player. The player is happy, even if from England they are telling us that he's also happy to go to Manchester United. So I don't really believe in Osimhen, but that's a possible player. Osimhen for Dusan Vlahovic today, I would do it all my life. Always, I think. It will not happen, but I would do it because we speak about a player that is able to score from every single angle. Retegui, is he the post-Dusan Vlahovic? I am not sure about that. It's a good player that is showing really a lot with Atalanta this season, but we already made a mistake with Koopmeiners. Do we want to do it again? Because that's 50 million that they are requesting and paying 20 to Genoa. They want 50 after one season. Do we really want to take the risk again after one only year? I'm not sure. Even if Juventus, apparently that's the player that they are at the moment identifying to replace Dusan Vlahovic because of the salary. Yeah, great, the salary, fantastic. But 50 million euro for Retegui, where I'm not sure. I need more evidences. It's a big risk. Jonathan David that is asking for a lot of money. We are here saying, yeah, but it's okay. Go for him because he doesn't cost. But are we sure that he will join Juve? Liam Delap, I'm not sure, guys. We are speaking about these four players that could possibly be a future striker of Juve. Jonathan David, according to me, it's a... Is he guaranteeing me 20, 25 goals per season? I don't see it in him. Retegui, maybe, if we are able maybe to take Gasperini at Juve. Maybe. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Liam Delap is a beautiful surprise. Maybe he can convince us. But also there already, 35, 40 million euro for the player from Ipswich. Could be that he is the one. I'm not sure. I'm much more confident about the second striker. Because if you bring me the rotational striker, the striker that is about to enter from the bench, there I like the names that I'm hearing. Kristovic and Lorenzo Luca. Today, I go for Kristovic. Personally, Beppe, I prefer Kristovic. Yes, Luca is Italian. Yes, Luca is stronger with the head. He's a tall player, but I will go for Kristovic. Personality, a player that wants to emulate what Vucinic did. Remember, he came from Roma, Giallo Rosso, yellow and red. He came from Roma. First season with Conte, he won the Scudetto. Maybe Kristovic is the one. Giallo Rosso from Lecce, that is coming from Lecce up. Antonio Conte back and we win again the Scudetto. I'm dreaming. Let's stop exaggerating. But Kristovic, personality, shot from the distance, he's brave. You see it, he wants, he has that hunger. I will go for Kristovic. Much more technique with the ball. He has, according to me, much more potential than Lorenzo Luca, even if Luca is not a bad player. Born in 2000, both of them, they have the same age. They could go for 25, 30 million euro, even if it's a lot of money. But these are the players that I would love to have on the bench. Anyway, these players, they are not there. And they will not be there against Monza on Sunday in our home. Because Mercato is not open, because Dusan Vlahovic is injured. So who are we counting on? On Kolo Muani up front, but especially Kenan Yildiz. The one that Claudio Gentile said, as I told you earlier, is probably the only one that is really wearing the shirt of Juve. Well, Yildiz behind Kolo Muani could be a solution. Could be a solution because Kolo Muani did well without Dusan Vlahovic, did really bad with Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan is not there. We have the same defense with Di Gregorio, Kalulu, Veiga, and Kelly. These are the predicted lineups. Nico Gonzalez that goes back as a right wing back, and at a certain moment, I know that we have some injuries, etc. But Tudor needs to decide. You want to play Nico Gonzalez? Play him there, because offensively it's a disaster. But going back there, McKennie on the left, Thuram, Locatelli in the middle of the field, Yildiz and Conceição behind Kolo Muani. That could be a solution. Tudor, he understood it. We need some goals. We need some goals, not only arriving up front, but also being able to go to score. And maybe Yildiz, Conceição, Kolo Muani could be a solution. Let's see. I am curious for the game of tomorrow. Juve, Monza. I tell you, if you don't win, you know, it's not only Champions League at this at risk is any competition of Europe next season. Total disaster. And then forget about Osimhen, forget about the beautiful name. Then Kristovic and Luka, that I see perfectly being the rotational player, would be your first striker. Disaster. Ragazzi, if you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel. I didn't expect to go that long because today, honestly, there is not a lot of things to say about Juve. We did 20 minutes. A really super long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza. Juve. This Juve. Here. This Juve. Here. This Juve.